Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Mariana or Phantom, either or, you can call me either or. We kind of went over that in my last video. If you didn't see my last video was an introduction video to this channel and myself. Also, just like last video, I have notes here that I will be taking off of because there is a lot of important information that I need to remember and I can't remember off the top of my head. So we will be reading from this every once in a while in this video, just like last video, but I didn't read off of my notes as much as I am in this video in the last video. But please get comfortable, get a snack, either get a hoodie or a blanket, get something to drink, go to the bathroom, and then when you come back, get comfortable because we're gonna hop into this video and it's gonna be a long one and there's gonna be a lot of information thrown at you all at once. So get ready. So like I said in the beginning, it's gonna be a long video, so get comfortable. So last night I was laying in bed on TikTok and Instagram, going back and forth, whatever. And I was texting my girlfriend, like always, and she was making herself dinner and her throat was bugging her. And so last week I had a dental procedure and I was kind of down and my throat hurt afterwards and stuff like that. So we bought ginger to make some ginger tea to help my throat, and she was gonna use it last night to help her throat because her throat was bugging her also. As she went to go look at the ginger and get stuff out to make her tea, she noticed that our ginger that we just bought 2 weeks ago was squishy and moldy. We didn't have it in a dark area or in the cupboard or anything like that. We just had it sitting out on the counter like you would normally in the normal plastic bag that it came from the store. And we just thought this was really weird, and I was talking to my mom about it earlier, and my dad buys ginger from every once in a while, and there's a little piece of ginger upstairs in my kitchen that's been sitting on the counter for a couple months, and it's still solid and it's still good and it's still ready to be used. Now I am really confused because the ginger that I bought 2 weeks ago went bad in 2 weeks. It was squishy and moldy and she had to throw it away. She couldn't use it. Another thing happened that was kind of similar a couple weeks ago. We had a gallon of milk in the fridge, and now we don't drink milk like crazy. Me and my girlfriend don't drink milk like crazy. We usually just use it for cooking, and I'll drink it every once in a while with dinner or something like that. But she's lactose intolerant, so she's not a big milk drinker. I'm not that big of a milk drinker, but I'll drink it. But, you know, we have milk in the fridge because we like to cook and bake and shit like that. And you just have milk in the fridge, which is just normal. I bought that gallon of milk on either January 15th or January 16th. And the expiration date on the gallon of milk was January 29th. And so I was like, okay, cool. I have like 2 weeks before this goes bad, which is crazy because for one, you don't know how long it was sitting on that shelf at the store for. And for two, milk should last way longer than 2 weeks. Shouldn't it? So, like I said, I bought that gallon of milk on the 15th. It said it was gonna last until like the 29th or the 30th of January. And maybe a week later, I went to go get the gallon of milk out of the fridge to use it, and it was separated from its liquid. Also, nobody really knows how long your gallon of milk or eggs or any other fridge-related items have been sitting on the shelf at the store. Nobody really knows the real time and dates of certain things. being put on the shelf, brought into the hot or warm car, and drove all the way home, and then put into the fridge. Now, with me going into my fridge and seeing that my gallon of milk was separated from its liquid, and if you don't know what that means, it's basically the milk kind of like clumped up or like foamed up, and the liquid separated itself from the foamy, crumply part, and it was separated. And nowadays, a gallon of milk is usually like $2 to $4 depending on where you go. That's an expensive gallon of milk. And I was so upset because I'm like, I just bought this gallon of milk. It hasn't even been 2 weeks. I mean, it hasn't even really been a week. And I have to throw this away. This is crazy. Whenever me and my girlfriend buy groceries, I've noticed this has been happening more and more. And I don't know why. We don't buy produce from Walmart, Target, or Cub. We usually buy produce from Aldi's, which is advertised as the better option than Walmart, Target, and Cub. They say it's fresher and better than all the other ones from all the other stores, and you'll get more for what you pay for because it's cheaper. As I was talking to my mom about this and doing research, I also realized something. Walmart, Target, and Cub have a refrigerator system that the produce is sitting in and a water sprinkler fountain thingy that the vegetables and the produce get sprayed every once in a while. Who knows how often they really spray it, but they get sprayed. Now, I also realized Aldi's doesn't do that. Aldi's produce is usually just sitting out in the open. That's why sometimes in the summer when it's hot, you'll see flies of fruit flies flying around the produce section in almost every grocery store, but a good amount is Aldi's. Also, another very important thing for vegetables and any produce that has to do with fruit, vegetables, and any other foods that are from the earth and from the ground is sunlight. Sunlight. Now, I know it is really hard to garden yourself in the winter. It is so hard because, take it from me, I live in Minnesota. I want to garden right now. I don't want to keep buying this stuff, but I have another month and a half of winter before spring, and I can finally start doing gardening and producing my own fruits and vegetables for myself. Walmart, Target, and Cub Foods have a heat lamp system, and then there's sprinklers. Now, is it really water that they're spraying onto these vegetables? I don't know, honestly. Also, another thing that I realized, Aldi's doesn't have that. Now, yes, they have their big store bright lights, but they don't have lights on the produce, and they don't have a sprinkler system for the produce. So, how are these fruits and vegetables getting their sunlight, water, and fresh air? After texting my girlfriend about the ginger incident of last night, I looked up something because I was curious, and I kind of fell down a rabbit hole of store-bought milk and farm fresh cow-to-table milk. Store-bought milk will last 5 to 10 days before it goes bad and you have to throw it out. Now, if you're just two people buying 2 gallons of milk, like me and my girlfriend, and you don't use a lot of milk that milk is gonna go bad. Now, granted, we shouldn't buy 2-gallon milk and we should just buy 1 gallon, but sometimes we need it more than the 1 gallon, so we buy the 2-gallon. Now, with that 5 to 10 days, we don't really know if those 5 days has already been used up because of the time that it was sitting on the shelf at the store. We don't know how long it's been sitting at the store. We know how long it's been sitting in our fridge after finding out milk from the store will only last you 5 to 10 days in your fridge before it goes bad and you have to throw it away. I looked up how long does fresh cow milk after being processed last you. This is actually crazy and should be known, and I feel like a lot of people don't know this unless you live on a farm and you do this process. Cow to table milk, with it being processed, not like store milk where it goes to the fucking lab or those big companies, nothing like that. Okay, so as you can tell, it's the next day, and clearly because I'm in a different shirt and it's lighter outside. Also, I have a microphone, so this will definitely bring up the quality in the audio. Anyways, as I was editing this and I was almost done with it, I was just putting stock footage in and I was rewatching it and I was getting stock footage put together for the video. I realized something that I didn't explain in the original video, and that's why I'm putting this in. The thing that I'm going to mention now that I should have put in originally, the farm footage that I used is from a very popular family vlogger YouTube channel. One that is very wholesome, and I watch every once in a while that I grew up watching. I should have put this in, but I'm going to put it in now, and I'm going to put the same footage that I already used in. Their cows and their animals are very happy and very well taken care of. I just want to put that in there because without me saying that, comparing it to the big companies and how they do it isn't really gonna put it in perspective for a lot of people. So here I am putting that in now. Also, one thing that I do want to mention, if I get anything wrong or if there's a miscommunication or any misinformation that I missed while doing research, please let me know in the comments. But please do not be an asshole about it, because this is my first video like this. And honestly, I didn't really know what websites to use to look for certain information. But anyways, just wanted to add this in here so there's not any confusion and so it doesn't seem like I'm comparing them, but there's not really a difference, because there is a very big difference. I just wanted to let you guys know that.
Now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Not that type of process, but a different, more simpler process that homesteaders do with their fresh cow milk. The cow to table milk will last you 10 to 21 days. That's a little over a month long that your cow to table milk will last you. Now that's just if you just put it in the fridge and use it on a regular basis. But if you freeze it and then you take it out, whenever you need it and unthaw it, or if you have extras and you freeze it, that will last you longer. This actually literally blew my mind last night because why? Just what the fuck is actually going on, really? Now, if you know what cow-to-table milk looks like, it looks completely different from store-bought milk. Cow-to-table milk looks like coffee creamer, kind of. A little bit thicker, a little bit more of a yellow tint, and I've heard a little bit sweeter than normal milk. Normal milk just looks like a white liquid. Thin white liquid, and that's it. Another thing I found out that my mom told me earlier when we were talking about this, I found out that it is illegal to sell cow to table milk. Now, if you're a homesteader and you want to start a little business where you sell your fresh milk, it's processed, but it's fresh milk. It's not like the store-bought milk. It's fresh milk, cow to table milk. If you want to sell cow to table milk out of your little either TikTok shop or Etsy or whatever business you might want to start on your farm to table milk, you will get a fine for that. If the state that you live in finds out that you are doing this without the milk being sent to all these fucking companies and factories to be processed how they process it, you will get a fine for selling cow processed the way it's supposed to be processed, not all this extra shit, to table milk. You will get a fine. Now, I don't know how much this fine actually is. I didn't look it up, I forgot. But this is just crazy to me. Because what do you mean I'll get a fine for selling fresh farm milk? What? After I kind of crawled out of the milk hole, I fell into another hole. I looked up how many years have companies and these factories have been dyeing our food, specifically our meat. Hamburger steaks, pork chops, brats, hot dogs, any other meats that you can fucking think of, they dye it to make it more appealing to the buyer. Now, if you didn't know, unless you're a farmer or a hunter, yes, of course, the meat will have a little bit of red on it because it's an animal, it has blood in its body, and you just killed it, and you just took it out of its body. But ground beef and stuff like that, hamburger, is originally a little bit gray. Now, that's completely natural. That's straight from the animal. Of course, like I said, there's going to be a little bit of red in it because, you know, it's sitting next to the cow's insides and its blood source. But once you wash off that blood and all that other stuff, it will be a little bit gray. Now, is that normal and is it supposed to be like that? Yes. Yes, it is. If you kill a cow, clean the meat, it will be a little bit gray with maybe a hint of pink in it. Not like the meat we get from the store. You might have heard of this red dye before that these companies use in our food on TikTok these past couple years. Red 40. Red 40 is used in so many different foods. It's insane. It's used in meats, Kool-Aids, juice, drinks, candy, desserts, snacks, so many other things that Google couldn't even give me a really big list because there's just so much that they put this dye into our food for. For what? Appeal. For it to be appealing, for it to be appetizing, for it to be sellable. It all comes down to the advertisements on TV, the billboards in highways or small towns, the commercials, the fucking publicity that TV shows and movies give to these restaurants and these snack foods and these drinks that people at home will go and buy and eat and enjoy. Now, you might have heard of Red 40 bean in Hot Cheetos, Takis, another type of red dye, but it's not red, the blue dye. Now, I don't know what that's called, but it's clearly blue, but it's basically the same chemical dye that is in all the colorful foods and drinks that you love. Kool-Aid, fucking Takis, any other candy that is blue, Skittles. Skittles without the dye would just be white. A white candy. But no, they have to make it colorful and fucking for it to be advertised so much that they dye it to make it more appealing to the buyer. It's just all a big money grab for everybody involved besides us who is buying it and losing money buying it. It's just crazy to me to think about this. I'm 20 years old. I'm glad I found this out now and not later on in my life like my parents. My parents didn't know anything about any of this growing up. They just ate what got put in front of them for dinners and lunches and breakfasts. You know what I mean? And, you know, my grandparents, our grandparents didn't know anything about any of this. They didn't care. They didn't care to. But now that the grandkids and the kids are learning about this stuff, it's scary. Another thing that I want to talk about before kind of leaning down to the end of the video, pop. Pop or soda, whatever you call it, wherever you're from, and whatever you call it, back in the 1900s and beforehand, 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and it kind of stopped in the 60s, these pop companies and factories. Now, don't get me wrong. I am drinking pop, but they don't do this anymore. Besides the caffeine, they don't put what they used to put in pops. Now, yes, of course they put caffeine and some type of syrup in there, but they don't put the crazy shit that they used to put in here. Let me tell you about it. Back in the 1900s and beforehand, 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and it kind of stopped in the 60s, the end of the 60s, they used to put drugs in pops and sodas. They used to put cocaine in Coca-Cola, opiates, and who knows how many other pops. So many pops used to have drugs in them. Like, not like, yes, caffeine is a drug, but they still put caffeine in pops and coffees and everything else, but not the crazy shit. They don't put the crazy shit in there anymore, like cocaine. They don't put cocaine in Coca-Cola anymore. And I'm pretty sure they also put it in Mountain Dew and Dr. Pepper. I'm not sure though. Some resources and things I heard in the past, they started putting cocaine in Coca-Cola for soldiers. So they can drink their pops and get more energy. Caffeine wasn't really cutting it, so they said, oh, why don't we just fucking put cocaine in it for them to be more energized and so they can focus. It's just so, oh my god, just so insane and just so stupid, honestly. Alright, well, now that you're either grossed out, confused, and annoyed, just like me, I hope you enjoyed this video. The fact that we can't sell nor buy cow-to-table milk is insane. That just proves to so many more people that the US government does whatever they want. They control all of us. They control what we eat, where we go, what we do, how we do things, how we spend our money, and so much more. They control everything, and I feel like people don't get that nowadays. I feel like they're starting to get it, but they don't really get it, and it's so annoying. This video talking about these foods that we eat on a normal daily basis, that we grew up on, is just proof of that. But like I said before, if you are annoyed, mad, angry, confused, and a little bit grossed out, just like me, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is my first video where I did a little bit of research about it, and I actually learned a lot of stuff, and I hope you learned something too. I'm gonna get out of here, and I hope you enjoy your night, or day, or afternoon, or whenever you're watching this, and please stick around for the next video, because videos are coming out on a consistent basis. Like I said before, I don't have a set in stone schedule. Whenever I'm able to do research, film, and edit, a video will be coming your way. And I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something. And with that, thank you and good night.